yesterday, we were having our first day of kindergarten while living by the slogan, "We have our eye on the future." Now we are about to leave the only thing that we have known for 13 years, the Arcanum School District. I, as I'm sure many of you, feel so lucky to have gone to school at Arcanum. Although we as a class have experienced a lot of tough moments together, we've also experienced a lot of good ones. While many of us did not envision an early end to our school year due to the COVID-19 pandemic as the perfect senior year, I would say that it's definitely going to be memorable. My dad actually made a rather perfect dad joke that I could not resist from sharing with you all here today. Okay, here it goes. We are the class of 2020 who are supposed to have perfect vision, but no one saw this one coming. Cheesy, I know. All jokes aside, my message here today to you, my classmates, is that while we have been put through a lot throughout our 13 years here together at Arcanum, we have proven to be a class of overcomers. Let's take a step back and think about all of the things that we have faced throughout our lives. We were brought into this world during 9/11, which was a horrible time. We overcame this obstacle, and then we started our school careers, growing together. Then, in middle school, a terrible incident happened where one of our own classmates, Mackenzie Fries, devastatingly passed away. Today, I would like to take a short moment of silence to commemorate our loved classmate. Thank you. After losing one of our own, we continued to grow as a class, and we experienced all of the ups and downs of an elementary, middle, and high school career. We enjoyed the many iconic moments of an academic career at Arcanum High School, such as constantly being in fear of failing Mrs. Witt's geometry and pre-calc classes, or the time that Araya asked how high the floor was in Mr. Lecklider's class. We also can't forget Mr. Chris' gym class, where we would either hear stories about basketball or Grant Delk. We went through Mr. Kindig's science class, where we could count on a hard backslap or a walk outside. We laughed when Mr. Hoddle was supposed to show us a video in Mrs. Polly's class, but he couldn't figure out why his flashlight on his phone kept doing a strobe light effect. We cried together in Mr. Baylor's classes when we didn't understand any of the math, and we were confused together when Mrs. Murphy would talk in Spanish, and the only thing we could make out of it was hola or other simple phrases. We all looked at Mrs. Cyphers as our school mom because we had her for so many years, and we strived to be even half the person that Mr. Powers is. We could always count on long conversations about golf with Mr. Bryant, and of course, I can't forget to mention the famous saying by Mr. Gorell, underline it, star by it, it's on the test. After experiencing all of these things throughout high school, one thing that we were all looking forward to was our senior year. We all heard that senior year was going to be the highlight of high school, and it was supposed to be the year of amazing lasts. But really, were we, the class of 2020, expecting this year to be ordinary? Of course, instead of having our year of lasts, we had a first. The first ever pandemic to shut down schools across the nation. If a pandemic was going to put a damper on anyone's senior year, it would be ours. If any of this tragedy that we have experienced throughout our lives teach us anything, it should teach us the lesson that we were chosen to go through these things for a reason. We, the class of 2020, are a class full of overcomers, which made us high achievers. Sure, we were brought into this world during a time of crisis. And sure, we're graduating into another crisis. But just sit back and think about how much we have already learned from recovering from terrible incidents. We as the next generation of lawyers, doctors, teachers, nurses, carpenters, firefighters, and anything else that you may aspire to become cannot let this simple obstacle drag us down. We have an amazing class that is full of people who are going to achieve such great things in life. The circumstances of our senior year are unfortunate, yes, but we need to learn from the things that we have gone through, and we need to become better because of them. As poet Maya Angelou once said, "You encounter many defeats, but you must not be defeated." All of us have gone through some hard times, some more than others, but we cannot let these hardships define who we are. If you let the bad things in life define you as a person, you will never get to where you want to be. Use these instances to grow, learn from your mistakes, and just become the amazing person that we are all meant to be. We have to learn from these instances that have, as the con cliche says, rained on our parade. If we do that, then we will become better people. We will become, as Mr. Steffen would say, the best version of ourselves. We are the class of 2020, and indeed, we have very bright futures. So just go out there, knock them dead, and continue to be the overcomers that we have already learned to be. Thank you.
Kayla will graduate with a 4.54 GPA. In the fall, she will be attending Wright State University. Please join me in congratulating Kayla.
March 13th, 2020 is a day I will never forget. I remember thinking how weird it was to clean out our lockers this early in the year. I was not happy about having to clean it all out just to bring it back in 3 weeks. Now I'm pretty glad that we did that. However, I was pretty excited to get the spring break I always dreamed of. I just did not expect it to last this long. If I knew that was my last day of high school, I would have treated it much differently. I would have let my teachers and classmates know one last thing. I would have told them that I am thankful for my time with them at Arcanum High School. To my teachers, you've done so much for me and my classmates. You've pushed us to reach our highest levels of education. You want us to succeed above all else and do whatever we need to make that happen. From class to flex to after school, you've been there to ensure we reach our potential. Even when some of us didn't want to, you've gone out of your ways to push us towards success. You've always been there for us beyond the classroom. You all strive to not only teach us lessons that we can apply in school, but lessons we can use for the rest of our lives. Mr. Steffen's Instagram series of the last lessons have proved that. You come to our events and support us in our best moments. You get to know us as people and not just as students. You're there for us when many have nowhere else to go. We all know that you're more than just a teacher. We would not be here today without you. So, to my teachers, I would have made sure to tell you thank you one last time on that random Friday in March. Now, to my classmates, I could not imagine high school without you. Many of us have been here since kindergarten and have spent our whole lives together. The amount of memories we have together is beyond what I can think of, and I would not have it any other way. To those who have not always been here, I'm sure you have your moments that stick out compared to any place before Arcanum. There are so many experiences that I'll remember for the rest of my life. I cherish the friendships I will never lose and the memories that will never fade. From playing sports to watching other sports, from Renaissance assemblies to spring fling, from times we've made Mr. Steffen upset and times we've made him smile, and everything in between. They all stand out to me as moments that I would never change. We've also been there for each other. There's always someone willing to help with homework, someone willing to put in the extra work with one another, and someone there to be a friend. We face small hardships, and some of us face the most difficult times of our lives. But when these traumatic events came, there will always be a helping hand from this class. We have overcome so many events together that would be so hard to do alone. When life looked so bleak, we could count on one another to pick us up. Through it all, we had each other, and now here we are today despite all the odds. We've all matured and grown together. I'm ready to move on to the next part of my life through all the things we've learned. I thank you for all the memories. I will always remember our time together. If I would have known during that last day of school that I was not coming back, I would have also made sure to tell Mr. Steffen thank you. None of my positive experiences in high school would have happened without him. The amount of energy and effort he gives into his students is unmatched. Mr. Steffen has made high school a time that I always look back on with a smile. And for that, I am appreciative. If I would have known that March 13th was my last day after 13 years here, I would have shown my gratitude for the people who got me here and who are with me today. This is not the way any of us wanted high school to end, but it's not always about the destination. It's about the journey.
Austin will graduate with a 4.46 GPA. In the fall, he will be attending the Ohio State University. Join me congratulating Austin.
Fellow graduates, teachers, administration, friends, and family. Nothing about today is how we pictured it. We have spent the better part of 13 years watching friends and family receive their diplomas and awaited not so patiently when it would be our turn.